Hello everybody and welcome. Today we are going to be talking about leaves. Today I'm over here at the single urban lot and I have all these leaves that have fallen down from this maple tree. This had gotten trimmed this past year, not this spring but last fall, and obviously it's put on plenty of growth over the last year. And what I want to do is an effort to basically clean up the area and to spread all of these nutrients from the leaves. I'm going to rake all of these up into the yard. So I'll have a clip showing me doing that, because a lot of this stuff, obviously it's not very tidy, but there's a lot of wasted nutrients that I can put back here toward the spaces where they don't have any of this leaf coverage. And one thing I wanted to mention about leaves is to see how thick these are. When they get this thick, they'll actually blot out whatever's growing underneath. I don't think they're quite thick enough to really affect it, but I just want a smattering of leaves, like that, so they can break down and add nutrients to the soil. But I really want to spread it over to, I'm more worried about spreading the nutrients, because I'm stepping on flower beds. That'll help too, to actually identify which one's a pathway or not. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a lot of the leaves cover this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a time lapse of me raking it, and I'll speed up it'll be like a sped up montage or whatever. So for those that like to watch my videos at 2 times speed, because I talk slowly, you're going to have to slow down your speeds because it's going to be a little crazy. Now comes the hard part about getting all these leaves all the way over there. If you're wondering about leftover leaves and stuff like that, I'm not too worried about that. I'm more worried about the neighbor. Good thing I checked that recording, because you guys did not see my face. However, I'm going to finish moving this, about 3 more trips, and then we'll go over to bringing stuff up this other pathway. Alright, instead of recording all of the raking, because it's going to take me 17 times longer to record and rake, you have an idea of what it takes to take a load down along this fence line here. I'm going to go show you what I'm doing with the driveway and how I'm going to bring leaves up to here and actually deposit some in the wood chip area so you have an idea, and then I'll get the rest of the work done. And I'll just come back and I'll let you know how long it took and show you the final result. I don't know if you can see kind of what I did there. I had a little trouble with the wind, but I'm raking dry leaves, so they kind of go everywhere. Just the goal is to get as many as you can, but that's about as much coverage as I want from leaves. And I'd thrown some in there, and more will go in that center spot there. But yeah, I'm just trying to redistribute all of those leaves so we get to keep all those minerals and stuff on this property instead of getting picked up by the city or put into a big pile of nothing. So I'll just take care of my own trees product and keep it in my property. So I'll finish this up and I'll give you a walk around and show you how it looks at the end. Real quick, I want to show you if we can make out this pathway here. It's really hard to navigate when there's but that's essentially what I'm trying to do, is bring all of this up here, then turn around, just get back up there. So obviously you can see some of this is piled onto some of my beds. I don't want it that thick. See the wood chips? So that'll be the tidying up process. I'll get the big chunks and all that over there, and then I'll pull from these beds here a little bit and get it down this pathway and back to there. Just to give you an idea about how many leaves, this is about 3/4 what I've raked up, and I'm just bringing it to the back there, just to give you some sort of unit of measurement, I suppose. Here's a rake. So it's definitely quite a large amount of leaves. Alright, it looks like we are done for the day. I got this edge cleaned up, and then the sidewalk. There will still be some leaves falling, so it's not going to be absolutely perfect and tidy. But you can see we got plenty of coverage. These pathways weren't too bad. I just kind of loosely walked through and kind of had a rake. All this stuff will break down. It's not nearly thick enough to blot out any sun or anything. They break down pretty quickly. Oh yeah, there's a pathway going through. It was really difficult to remember where the beds were. And then my last pile, I just went straight through. There's strawberries planted right here. And there's that elderberry. And there's asparagus. So I just went straight through there. Just kind of chucked them. Strawberries. Yeah, we just went through a bunch on there. And of course, the biggest goal, like I said at the beginning, it wasn't that the leaves were too thick. They just were a bit messy, for one. So we wanted to tidy that up. And then we wanted to get these leaves over here. As you can see, I still have a little bit. I'll just bring a little bit over here and clean that up, but it's a perfect example of what it would have looked like all winter long, with just the grass covering with no soil cover, which leads to spots like this where nothing grows. So this coverage here will provide food and food for the microorganisms, cover the grass so it doesn't dry out so bad, and then when the throughout the winter and all that. So like I said, it does need to be a perfect thing, but to spread that huge pile from all the way up there and get it to cover all of this, like this is all stuff that I added, all that's added, and then to cover this large spot with all those leaves is a huge boon and free energy that my lovely maple tree has provided. And I'll check back again in about a week. We'll see what happens when the rest of the leaves fall. Hopefully I'll just have to clean up the edge of the road and it'll be good. I'm a pear tree, but no, as far as leaves, I know a lot of people rake them up, put them in bags. And if you are putting them in bags, just let me know where they are and I'll pick them up and I'll dump them either on this property or at my house. I know, at least in our city, we can leave them out in the yard or more specifically in the road, and then the city will be kind of forced to pick up the leaves. They bring it to a county, local city center, and they dump it, and that's it. Same with wood chips. You have to pay if you cut down a tree, you shred it up, whatever, you give it to the city, you have to pay them, and then they don't do anything with it. It's not a composting, it's not like an active composting system. Whatever it is, it just gets thrown into a landfill-like experimental space. It'd be nice if they would turn it in like an active compost, that'd be great, but it just sits there in a huge pile, and basically people take all this free energy from their lands, give it to the city, where it goes into an anaerobic compost pile where it creates all sorts of methane gas and all sorts of stuff. So it's not a sustainable or a good green practice or anything like that. It might make your yard look more tidy, right? Because it looks all neat and orderly. But that's about it. There's no actual ecological benefit. And also, leaves and all that, that's a perfect habitat for bugs and worms and all sorts of stuff in the wintertime. A lot of things actually overwinter in that light level of protection. So really, it's a no-brainer really for me to take the 45 minutes it took to film all this and to rake, the little bit of sweating on a pretty warm November day, to spread this stuff out, because I'm, for one, tidying it up and it looks like I'm doing something here, but I'm actually enriching all my soils and the ecosystem that I am building here. So with that being said, I want to thank you for watching. If you could, if you have any comments on what you are doing at your place, please let me know. It'd be interesting to see if anybody has had any real major problems with maple leaves or what have you, oak leaves, and spreading them out in this manner. I can't think of any real negatives other than maybe a visual kind of aesthetic type thing. But yeah, if anybody has any examples of how like maybe too many leaves in one spot really has started to block out grasses, it'd be hard to see what the type of grasses that are here. Grasses grow no matter what I try to do to them. I actually, in fact, had to dump over a foot of wood chips in this one area to stop grass from growing. So yeah, with that being said, thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried out a little bit more editing, have a little intro that you guys saw and all that. So alright, that's it. Thanks. Bye-bye.